We've talked a few times about Darius Smith, the impressive defensive end from South Georgia that signed with the Dogs. He put something out on Twitter where he's claiming that he ran a 22.15 in the 200 meter. It looks like they're in Albany. Now, I can't totally tell. It's what it looks like to me. But when you, I mean, he is rolling past people. It's not surprising that guys that sign with Georgia are really athletic. But when I watch Darius Smith, who's from Appling, which is in South Georgia, that's why I say it looked like Albany Stadium, but I couldn't really tell. Um, to see him do that and run like that, it's not shocking, but just to watch it is another thing. Now I can't show it on here because I don't have the trademark for it, the copyright for it. But I'm telling you right now, when I watched him play against Cedar Grove, he stood out in a big way for me. I don't think he's going to be a guy that comes in immediately and plays. I don't know that he's going to be a superstar. I don't know, but when he came in and when I watched him play against Cedar Grove in Atlanta the night before Georgia and Alabama in Atlanta, he was as impressive a defensive end guy as I've seen in a while. I mean, probably not as big as Lorenzo Carter was. I'm trying to remember how big Lorenzo was. So long, when he was playing at Norcross. I don't think that Smith is the comparison is so far from that. But no matter who you kind of say, oh, he reminds me of this person. He really was very good. He played receiver for them as well at Appling, and just going to watch, he stood out more than anybody else on the field. And there were other Georgia signees. Christian Miller was there. There were other Georgia signees that was on that team, or excuse me, on that field. And Miller is a pretty good player too. He played nose for Cedar Shoals, Cedar Grove that night. You get the Athens school thrown in there for just for fun. But I really, when I travel to see someone play, which almost always happens, you got to travel. You want to see them shine. You want to see them do something. And there were a lot of times in the 2000s and to some degree in the 2010s, a little bit, when you go watch guys play and you're like, that's not the case more and more. I mean, when you go watch, I'm trying to think of guys that I've seen live with Kirby. Malachi Starks for sure is a guy. Sammy Brown will be someone that people will remember. He is an exceptional player who was at Commerce and now he's at Jefferson. Um, I mean, Brock Vandegrift, Gunnar Stockton. These are all guys that they had wow moments in their games. Well, for Smith at Appling, he wasn't really that much different. I mean, it was well, hello, and he could just bend in a way that was impressive. And when you see him run 200 I mean, 200 meter, excuse me. There's never going to be a time when a football player is going to run 200 meters, unless I mean, even I don't know the math there, but that's more than 100 yards, right? Um, but certainly a defensive player, they're never going to run that sort of speed. Yeah, 200 meters is 218 yards. So there's no time at which a football player would run two lengths of the football field and then another 20 yards. That's not going to happen. But it does show his explosion. And once he got that big body rolling, he was just running past the guys that he was in what clearly was at least a region meet. We're at the time of year, so it would be just a regular meet or region or below. But at 6'6", 225, to be able to move like that, I'm telling you, he is one of the value picks, if you want to call it that way. He is one of the value players in this draft. Jalen Carter was another guy that I saw in person. He's been better at Georgia than what I saw when I saw him at Apopka, but he was pretty good at Apopka, okay? He was pretty good at Apopka. Jordan Davis was better at Georgia than when I saw him play, but he was playing left tackle. I think it was left tackle, but it was right tackle or left tackle on the offensive line. So Smith, was playing the position he's going to play, which is an edge guy, probably an outside linebacker. He's a little small to be a lineman, but I don't know. 6'6", if you go into 250, 260, that's a different ball game, right? I mean, but the guy was a holy terror on the outside, and I think he was going up against Miller the bulk of the time. Now, Miller is not an offensive tackle, but he is a Division I athlete, an SEC football player, which means he can go, right? Um, Watching that tape just now of him from his Twitter page is an impressive athletic feat. And these are the type of guys that Georgia's bringing in with Kirby. Now, will Smith translate to the SEC in a big way at the beginning of his career? I don't know. But I think over time, um, I'll go through this spiel. When guys are from rural areas, they are often not developed the same way they get developed at Georgia. When you got a guy that went to Buford, that's a different situation completely because he's in a sophisticated program in Gwinnett County. He has almost everything laid out for him at his feet. You don't get that at Appling County, okay? Not saying they're not doing the right thing. They just won the state championship, I think. They're doing a lot of stuff right. They don't have the same stuff as Metropolitan Atlanta. This guy is raw. And that makes me wonder how high up can he go? When you look at this class, he is not going to be one of the first people that you think about. Starks, Williams, Jones, Everett, those are guys that immediately, and obviously Gunnar Stockton because he's a quarterback, but those are guys you immediately think, oh, they'll play, quick. Branson Robinson to some degree. But in Smith's case, you're talking about someone who has the ability to really blossom at Georgia. He's the one guy that I would watch out for as a sleeper over time. Um, he's definitely a guy that I will watch over time because I've seen him do it. It's impressive, and now this explosion on the track. I mean, that follows things up for me too. So Darius Smith from Baxley, Georgia, which is Appling County. I'm pretty certain they won the state championship, beating out Cedar Grove along the way. So this is a really powerful guy to pay attention to over time. Is it going to be immediate? I doubt it, but he could really be developed into something special. Make sure you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION. You can see it right behind me, and the link is down below. Thanks for watching.